Welcome, everyone, and my name is Marvin Jenkins, and I'm the coordinator for the Women's Business Center for Maryland Capital Enterprises. And we are a nonprofit organization, and we assist women who are either starting a new business or expanding an existing business. And we service the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And we offer a lot of educational programs, workshops, one-on-one consulting and counseling, as well as loan assistance. And we help some with business plans also. We do have an office in Salisbury, Maryland, and we have just opened another office. We've had representatives in Baltimore, but we've got a new office in Baltimore now. So that's something new for us. We are recording this, so everyone will get a recording of the event. Plus, I'll put some other information. Some of the PowerPoint slides will be included. And I'll also put information on upcoming webinars that we have. We've got a lot of good ones coming up, so hopefully you can attend some of those also. And today, I'm proud to introduce Anita Hicks, and she's going to be taking over and talking a little bit about herself and some of the internet and social media educational materials. So you can go for it, Anita.
Oh, thank you, Marvin. Thank you so much to MC and Women's Business Center. And welcome to our guests and attendees today. Looks like we got another one, Oslin. If I mispronounced your name, I apologize. My name is Anita Hicks, and I'm with my company as Virtual Assistants by Anita. And I am a self-employed business owner. I'm in my 13th year of business. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm trying to do the slideshow and bring those slides up at the same time I'm talking, which is always talking and doing is a challenge. So like I said, this is my 13th year in business. I have a degree from University of Maryland from 1987 in computer sciences, and I had raised 3 children, been a licensed in-home daycare provider, and then decided they were raised and pretty much out, and I needed to do something else with my life. So I started Virtual Assistants by Anita. I run it with my husband and my adult children. I subcontract sometimes, and I have more work than people. And let's see, I love the beach. I lived in Anne Arundel County for 30 years and raised my children there. 2 boys and a girl. My youngest girl is 24 now, and she is pregnant with my first grandchild. I'm so excited. 3.5 years ago, I relocated to my dream destination of Ocean City, Maryland, so I could live near the beach. And I pretty much provide social media websites and email marketing to those small and medium business owners and professionals to help them. So I'm going to go through the PowerPoint slides. You can see these, right, Marvin? It says the power of social media. Can you give me a thumbs up or shake your head or unmute and tell me that you can see those? Great, Marvin. Thanks for the thumbs up. So I'm going to go through these slides, talk a little bit about how this works, the goals, and what some suggestions are to you, tips, if you will, of how it can help you. And then at the end, when I'm done, which I'll probably end up before the hour, I'll probably be 30-ish, 40 minutes at the most. And then I'll, go ahead and open up the time for questions and answers. So if you had something specific about the slides that I'm going to go through, or how it might affect or positively impact your business, then that'd be a great time to ask. Now, if I'm going through and you're just like, I really got to know this right now, feel free to unmute or use the reactions at the bottom to raise your hand and just throw it out there. I mean, this is a small class, so we can absolutely do that. So again, welcome. The goal of today is to provide some education on the power of social media. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, what we want for our website, for our marketing, for our social media, and for our business is for us to reach search engines like Google, Yahoo, Bing, And why do we want that? So that people can find our goods and services. So when they're searching and looking for a product, or they need help with their social media or a website created or enhanced, then they can find us. And the more that we are being found on Google, and if we're on the first page, we need to stay there, then the better that's going to be for our digital footprint and for how much results we're going to get, how many phone calls, emails, attractions at social media. So that's kind of what this is all about today, the power of social media. And these are some stats. It's one of the fastest ways to market your business in the world. Think about people that are in national brands like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Johnson and Johnson, Godiva chocolate. I mean, they're on all the social media platforms, and there's a reason for that, because 84% of people are on their phones. I never leave home without it. It's my phone that I never leave home without, and people are searching on Safari and Google and all of those places. And when they are looking specifically for a roofer, let's say, for their house, then if they are searching and they find a roofer with a recommendation on Google, or with, 5 social media sites where they're seeing recommendations from someone they know, then that's a peer recommendation. And now they feel even more motivated to call. Hey, my neighbor down the street used this roofer, and I known John for 10 years, so I'm definitely calling this roofer. Whatever marketing you're doing, whether it's print marketing or social media, it should really be doing all of these. And that's what social media marketing does. And what I'm talking about with search results is it builds and increases your contacts, strengthens the relationships that you have already, and increases the frequency that you have. So the more that you're on social media, the more that you have a footprint out on the internet, then the more you're going to get search results and rank higher. And again, the idea is then your phone is going to ring, the emails are going to come in, and people are going to be contacting you. Now, this is kind of a visual. Most people in their businesses or nonprofits have a website. Most people have a directory. They're listed somewhere, at least on Google My Business, for their business. And they, a lot of times, are in some networking organization. Maybe they're in a chamber organization, a chamber of commerce, like there's a Salisbury Chamber of Commerce, or the, Ocean Pines Chamber of Commerce, Ocean City, we were talking about that. Well, those places all list you as well. But then if you're on social media, then these are so many more places that you could be listed with your Facebook business page. I was talking to my friend from Lower Shore Workforce Alliance, and I know they're on social media, and they are with their business center as well. A LinkedIn profile, as well as a company page, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google, which I'm talking about, like Google My Business, where you have an actual directory listing there. But then you could have directory listings like places like Yelp, or Bing has listings, Yahoo. On the Ocean City side, there's a Search Ocean City is the place that you can list your business. Are you blogging? That's another way that you can use that to reach social media and to bring people back from search results to your website. And then there are always the idea of volunteer, like volunteer to teach in your community, volunteer to do articles in your community for free online newspapers. Those are ways to get more results. And if you're doing all of these and these things, then now that's a lot more ways that your business is going to be reached online. So using Google, I just went and typed in Anita M. Hicks, and you can see that it brings up right away my website, AnitaMHicks.com, but then LinkedIn comes up, and my Facebook, and my Twitter account. And this was an online Anne Arundel County newspaper that I was writing at. And all of those things appear in addition to my website. And, so if I wasn't on LinkedIn, if I wasn't on Facebook, I wasn't on Twitter, if I wasn't writing online newspapers, then those would be results that I wouldn't have here on the first page of Google under the search for my name. And you can see it's similar when I search for virtual assistants by Anita, but now I'm searching by my business name, and Google immediately realizes, oh, this is a business. So let's put up the paid ads about virtual assistants. And that's what these are. These are people that pay lots and lots of money to Google for ads. Sometimes ads can be helpful, but I generally think that you should be working on your organic reach, which is without paying. You can see just below the 3 paid ads is Virtual Assistants by Anita, and my blog comes up and my services page. And you can see that over here on the right, and I just wanted to show you all on one page, but this was down below, is then my Facebook page is there for Virtual Assistants by Anita, and my LinkedIn, and oh, look, my YouTube channel. So those are ways that by just having consistent content and having these social media sites, you can actually get more reach on Google, Yahoo, Bing, and other search engines. But then there's more power to it in the idea that if you are, working with the idea of having social media be a platform where not just you're using it, but it's a social platform. So you should be asking people that are connected to you, or, I like to call them strategic alliance partners. It's just a fancy word for people that you work together with. But, let's use this as an example, not just what I have on the screen, but this class. I work with MCE Women's Business Center to teach classes once a month for our community. It's something that helps our community. MCE and Women's Business Center does so many great things. And so I push out the classes and the link to register, but so does Lisa Twilley, so does Lisa Layfield, so does Marvin, so does the actual MC Facebook page, and they put it on LinkedIn. And so now it's not just my connections that are seeing it. It's not just Marvin's, but it's everyone's. And, you think about it, if Marvin shares it and even one of his people shares it, then that's even more people that are reaching it. And that's the example I have here. John shares to 100 connections. Then Anita, Gretchen, and Jay like it and share it. Anita has 1,000, Gretchen has 15. Now we've reached all these people more with that. And if one of my connections who has, 4,000, let's say Lisa Layfield shares it from mine, and Lisa has, 5 million people that are her connections online. So now I'm reaching all of those people as well. So, that's what this is all about. It's one of the things that when you hear people say, something went viral, that's what this means. It means that so many people are sharing it, that it's reaching an exorbitant amount of people more than it would have if it were just shared by the original post. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, okay, why can't I just share my business on my Facebook personal profile? Well, sure you can, but if you really want to get the value of search engines, then you want a Facebook business page, or it can be for a nonprofit. You can use it for a personality, like let's say you're a motivational speaker, then you can create a Facebook page for that. But it's different than, a personal profile. I have Anita M. Hicks, and then I have Virtual Assistants by Anita. Well, when I post on my personal profile, I can only have 5,000 friends. I only think I have 2,000 right now. But my Facebook business page can have unlimited people that like or follow it. So, like Godiva Chocolate, they have something like 1.4 million people. I'm not Godiva Chocolate. I don't have that many, but, content is only going to reach people that I share on my personal profile at Facebook. That's one of the reasons why I'll share the MCE class that I'm teaching on my Virtual Assistants by Anita Facebook page, and then I share that to my personal profile. Because a Facebook business page for your business and create it as a page for your nonprofit, oops, didn't mean to do that, or for your business can reach the search engines. It has to be under certain criteria. You have to have 100 people that like or follow the page. It has to have consistent content. So 1 to 3 posts per week at Facebook on the business page. And it also needs to have what they call a username. So You have to go out and make it say facebook.com/ and virtual assistants by Anita. Another thing is like you can have some events and a few other tabs for your personal profile, but on your business page, you can have reviews, you can have events, you can have notes. There are almost an unlimited amount of custom tabs. So that's another benefit. And one of the custom tabs can be a link to your Twitter account, to your LinkedIn account. And then that way you're cross-indexing your social media sites. And hopefully the idea is that not only are you going to reach search engines by having a backlink to your Twitter account at Facebook or a backlink to your YouTube channel at Facebook, but also you're going to be able to cross-index your people. So people that are liking your Facebook page are going to click on that link and then go and follow you at Twitter. And so that's a double value. So just a little tip, I always like to just randomly throw some tips in. One of the things that people ask me a lot is, I have this special event coming, or I have a product that's, on sale, or I'm trying to really get some attention and some buzz to a certain service that I'm doing. Well, there's a way to pin that post to the top. So this lady was selling a book, online book about weddings and how to plan for them. And she wanted to put it at the top of her Facebook page. To do that, you pin a post. And this is how you do it. You go to the post, and to the side, there's a little drop down or 3 little dots. And once you click on those, then there are options like these where you can delete or edit or change, but you can also pin to the top. And then once you do that pinning, then it'll have a little pin or a push pin in some cases there, and it'll allow that post to stay up at the top for about 7 to 10 days or until you take it down. That means if you put another piece of content out, it'll fall down below that. It won't be right at the top until you remove it or some time goes by. And I think Facebook's time is 14 days now. So a lot of people ask me, well, how do I use my Facebook page? And this can apply at LinkedIn or Twitter, any of your social media sites, to really gain some traction on search engines. Well, one of the biggest things that is engaging on social media and that also will be raised in search results on Google is video. Google owns YouTube and they love video. And so if you're posting video of your own or a link from your YouTube channel onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn, then that's going to really give you more value, but also reach search results more often than just, a link to a website, more often than pictures. Referrals of others is another thing that Google and search engines like Yahoo, Safari, Bing really like. They embrace that. If you're really out there giving reviews of other clients or people that you do business with, your vendors or whatever, then that's another way that you can be reached on. You can raise your search results or be reached higher. And then article marketing can be very powerful. Another thing I always tell people before we get into the YouTube channel here, let me go back a minute actually, is when you're posting on social media, one of the biggest things that you want to make sure you're doing is, you're putting out a link to your website, whether it's like with MCE that I'm putting out links to their website for the classes that they're offering, or like for my own social media, at least once every week or 10 days, I put out a link to my website services from my website or my social media services or to a blog that I've written. Because if you're leading them back through Facebook and LinkedIn, through a website link to your website, then now you're raising your results in search engines. You have nice content for your social media and you're directing them back to your own website. So that's another value or tip that I can share. This is YouTube, and YouTube is definitely the video wave of the future, if you will. It is owned by Google, so it is one of the largest search engines in the world. A lot of people don't even realize that YouTube is a search engine quite like Google, a lot like Bing and Yahoo and all of them. And, you know, in the last years, they've actually gotten to the place where they allow YouTube channels to monetize, which means, you know, investing money, having advertisers, all of that. So these are some things at YouTube that you want to definitely make sure you have a YouTube channel for your nonprofit, for your business. Make sure that, you know, you're at least uploading one of your own videos, because your own video is the largest way on YouTube to increase your results on search engines. And then, you know, using the content that's there already, the what we call stock or shell content of, you know, what's going on in your community, or, you know, Mashable is a national social media service, and they do what I do, but on a much larger scale. And they have huge, great articles about how to do things on social media, how to use Pinterest, and they do 3-minute videos. And a lot of times I'll share that out my social media and say, hey, check out this video. But by using their video, it helps me to not have to create content and still brings me results. Plus, remember, like if you're uploading your own video, there's a whole description paragraph there box, and you can actually get something like 1,000 words in there. You can include links to your website or to a second video or to your Facebook page, you know, and all of those. Every time you put a link to your website on another social media site, or, you know, you're posting it as a piece of content, then that's a backlink. And again, it's going to give you a higher digital footprint. So, I mean, a lot of people ask me, why do I want to be on LinkedIn? How can that result in, you know, clients for me? Well, it really can bring you new clients. If you noticed earlier in the slide, I showed you how when I searched on Anita M. Hicks or Virtual Assistants by Anita, both times it brought my LinkedIn profiles up. And that's because LinkedIn is really a professional platform for business, and it has the highest search engine platform installed of any social media. Facebook will try to tell you theirs is better. I don't know. They go back and forth all the time, but it's very high. You get a high presence on social media by having a personal profile and a company profile, and then, of course, consistent content. LinkedIn actually expects that if you're a consistent content poster and user of their profiles, that you're posting once a day, 5 days a week, you know, at the least 4 days a week. But they want you to be on there a little bit more to give you that kind of raise in there. I mean, many people have heard that word, the algorithm, if you will. Well, that's just their search result, fancy programmer word for how much you're pushed out in their, you know, results as far as search for them, but also search for Google, Yahoo, Bing, all of that. Testimonials can be left for you at LinkedIn, and those are, you know, some of the, sometimes when I search on my Google for me, my testimonials from LinkedIn will come up higher than my testimonials from my website, which is somewhat annoying because I want my website to be better, but also a huge benefit. So, and you know, if you'd like to know you have a new client, maybe they came to you through search and they gave you a call and they're really what we call a cold client. We want to learn a little more about them, go look at their LinkedIn profile. Many people have not only all the information in their profile, what they do now, but like mine goes back to way back to 1980 something, you know, and every business that I've worked for when I was a childcare provider, before that, when I worked for corporate America. So, I mean, you can find out so much information in advance, and it makes you look like you really care and have done your research. And then again, I like stats. I am a computer programmer, so over 80% of companies use social media for recruitment on LinkedIn. The percentage of businesses that use LinkedIn is actually 95%. It's very high. I mean, even if I know businesses that'll go and create company profiles, and maybe they're only posting once a month or once every 2 months, once a quarter, but they're still there with their business because they realize the value. And that's the idea, that you can have a company profile, not just a personal profile. And one of the other parts of that is, a lot of companies that have a lot of employees, like IBM or Xerox, then all those employees follow the company profiles as well. And again, you can see that that's how they get a lot of engagement. This is still true, and this was actually a stat I took a few months ago. If Facebook were a country, it would be the third world's largest country. That's how many people use Facebook. And if you think about it more in the idea of Maryland, I actually ran stats for my class last month that I was doing, and I ran them on Howard County. And of the 199,000 people that are using Facebook for business in Howard County, there were 78% that were using it 1 to 3 times a week. So that's a lot of people. That's your audience, perhaps. And then when you're talking about, what kind of content are you doing? These are some things to ask yourself, because again, these are things that are going to affect your search results. If you're putting out posts that educate people on how to, if you're a real estate agent and you're educating them on how to save for that first down payment, and you're doing a blog, then that's going to reach search engines as well as your social media when you're pushing that out there. And it's not asking them to buy or sell anything, it's educating them, entertaining people. It seems like maybe that's, just fluff. I get a lot of, oh, that's fluff content, Anita. Well, if you're putting out a motivational video from YouTube, or the 1-minute inspirational Monday morning quotes, then that's going to be something that people would not maybe share my post about my business, but they might feel inspired to share that, and they might remember me too from it. So, and if I'm sharing a YouTube video, then again, YouTube is the, one of the largest search results places in the world, one of the largest places in the world to get search results. Engaging people. A lot of people ask me, how do you do that? Well, have you tried asking questions? I mean, have you asked what's your most challenging aspect when you're doing social media for your business? What's your favorite social media site? These are questions that I ask related to my business to get people to tell me. And if they say, well, I'm having a real challenge at Instagram, well, then over the next few weeks, I'll start to post marketing articles that market about Instagram, and maybe do a blog about Instagram and post some things, little tips. So, I mean, engaging people by asking questions can help you to then be able to know what kind of content to use for your audience. Okay, relationships. Now, this slide is based on if you're a real estate professional, but consider your target market. What kind of, if your target market is as a realtor, someone that has a family with children in school, then are you posting about the stats on the schools in your areas? Like, for instance, Worcester County has the #1 SAT scores in all of Maryland. Did you know that? I know that because I live here. And, but that would be great if someone's considering moving to Worcester County. They're going to want to know that, especially if they're coming from Delaware or Pennsylvania. That would be something that would be of value and help them. And, these are the kind of things that you want to think about. What makes your services special? What makes you benefit? And when you say this, Lower Shore Workforce Alliance is a special nonprofit that helps those that own businesses with training for their employees. I know that that's one little piece that you guys do. And then a link to your website to that service, and now it's going to maybe trigger someone's interest, and also give a link to your website, which if you're sharing on a Facebook business page or LinkedIn, then it's going to reach those Google, Yahoo, and search engines. Events in our communities are always a great thing. Especially if you're a member of a chamber, or even if you're not, supporting our local chambers is a great idea. And they have lots of, expos, health fairs, all kinds of business after hours. But then, again, this is for real estate professionals. What about the school fundraisers and the local sports stuff that's going on? And if you have a family that has 3 kids that are lacrosse lovers, then they're going to be interested in that and maybe remember you as a realtor. These are my services and a few things that I supply. And I already talked about that a little bit, but you'll get that when Marvin sends the slides too. And then I always like to end on a positive note. And I really think that this quote is also kind of social media related, if you will, because, faith is taking the first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase. You might not be able to see how it's going to result in a positive way for your business or nonprofit 6 months or a year down the road. But if you just make a plan to take a few steps on your social media to incorporate links and wording that could be search results for you, then that's going to make a difference. And that's all you want to do is just take little small steps at a time. So I've been talking for a while. How about we open the floor to any questions that we might have? I'll be happy to answer.
Hi, this is Osland. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, that was great. Thank you for sharing all that information. So I'm going to be, the name of my company, Conception Point, and We Facility. So we're going to be launching in November. So I'm going to be starting to build buzz around the brand and get people ready to come into the community once we do launch in November. My question is, you mentioned several social media platforms, and I know it's based on age and all that good stuff and who is where. Because being on 10 different social media, posting to 10 different platforms is a bit much starting off.
I agree.
What would you recommend the number of? I was thinking 3 at least different platforms based on my age, my target audience age. But what is your opinion on where you should be on social media, because there's a lot of different platforms?
Yes, it can be overwhelming. And like I said, at the end there, you want to take small steps, especially at the beginning. And as you're describing, starting out, 3 is a magic number, is what I was thinking. What is the age of your target market? Can you share that with me?
Yes. So women 30 to 45. And I'm still doing research on that, but generally I would say 30 to 45.
And do you have a product or a service?
Well, both. I'll have a reproductive health kit, which is a physical product. And then I also have a community that I'm going to be inviting women to join.
Okay. All right. Well, I would definitely say a Facebook business page, because as you can see, I've been talking about those search results for that. And then I absolutely, second to none, would make sure that you have a Google My Business listing for your business. And there is a way to use Google My Business to put content and social media out on that platform as well, which now you're reaching search and maps and directly to Google. So both of those are the first 2 that I would highly suggest to you. And then in hearing what you're saying about the target market and like the community aspect of it, if you want to keep it small so you don't feel overwhelmed, so that you're doing it well and get good at that and get an audience, and then you can always expand. But the third one that I would recommend would be LinkedIn. And that's because of the aspect of the 30 to 45 women. They definitely are on LinkedIn, and there are ways there to create a community. Then the other thing I would keep in mind, is that if you have picture-oriented content, and that's why I asked if it was a product or a service. If you have pictures of women that are being, happy and this is working for them, you talked about reproductive, maybe they're having their babies, and you have those kind of photographic pictures or visuals or video, then Instagram and Pinterest are great places as well. The difference of the 2 is that Instagram has a huge following through hashtags. They're exactly in that range of age, somewhere between 25 and 40. But Pinterest, you can do the same type of content and add links and get actual search results as well. So those are some things to keep in mind, but I hope that was a long answer, but I hope it helped.
It did. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for attending today. Any other questions? Comments are fine too.
I'm sorry, this is Alejandro Handy. Hi. I'm just finishing writing a book, and I would like to get an idea where you think one of the first places that I should try to market my book on. As Lisa said, I just retired from the Ocean City Recreation Department, so I think a lot of my youth, parents, and business people will be interested in who Hondo is. So where would you think I should start?
So I would absolutely say start with a Facebook page, because that's where most Ocean City and Eastern Shore people love Facebook. So you're going to get results there, and you're going to be able to connect with your friends to the Facebook page. You know, you can create a page, your name and author, and then that way it could cover future books that you're writing as well, not just this one. I would secondly say go and get it listed at Amazon, because Amazon is like the place for books, you know. And I've had many authors that I've worked with through the years in doing like grand publishing and grand openings and publication of the book and launch and book writings and, you know, book signings and all of that. And they still tell me that the best place that it works for them to sell their books is Amazon. And you can actually share your Amazon link for your book where people can order online and do all of that out to your social media. So out to Facebook, to, you know, the other place that perhaps might be a good place for you would be one of those visual places I was talking about, Pinterest or Instagram, because you're gonna have pictures of the book, pictures of you, you know, and so that's another great way to get a buzz started. So those would be my suggestion. But because of your reputation in the community and the, you know, surrounding of people that you already know and have, I would definitely start with, you know, get right now even a Facebook business page.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Congratulations on writing a book.
Thank you. Facebook business
Do
page.
you still do a podcast?
Yes. Oh, yes, I still do.
I was wondering about that, 'cause that's a great place too to be able to talk about it and get the information.
Absolutely, absolutely. At the end of everything that you do, you know, if you're hosting a podcast or a class, or, you know, whatever you're doing, make sure you're saying, you know, hey, remember, you can further the relationship or continue to find out what's happening with me at my Facebook page or wherever, you know, at my website. For those of you that have seen the chat room, I put in some contact information when I first started class today for me in the chat room. I'm gonna go ahead and put it again. But I mean, that's one other way to draw people. If you're doing a podcast or you're speaking on the radio or whatever you're doing, is to invite them to, hey, remember to come and connect with me on social media. You can find me at Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you know, and give them, you know, like with me, I'm like, look for Virtual Assistants by Anita or Anita M. Hicks, because it can't just be Anita Hicks. You got to put the M in there, because there's this nice lady in Georgia who's an author and her name is Anita Hicks. So
He's loving you.
yeah. So I've had many. She gets my mail and I get her mail, and it's fun. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions today that I can answer? Thank you, Hondo. Did you have anything else, or was that helpful?
No, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Hello, Donna.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
I'm sorry I'm late to the party, but I got here.
Hey, girl, as long as you're here, that's all that matters. Now we got a party going on. Donna has joined us.
Yes, and I am the Baltimore coordinator for the Women's Business Center here at Maryland Capital Enterprises, and I'm putting my contact information in case anybody wants to talk to me in the chat.
Love it. So do any of our other attendees have any questions about today? Or, you know, Marvin, Lisa, Donna, if you guys had any questions, of course. Maybe something you were thinking I was going to cover that I didn't. I'll be happy to now, or
No, I
anything.
think you covered most everything that I thought you probably would, and I think you did a very good job.
Thank you, Marv.
Very, very easy to follow.
Thank you very much, Bunky.
You're welcome.
All right, well, for our attendees today, Marvin or Bunky is gonna follow up because Lisa Twilley, I believe, is on vacation. And he's
Yes.
gonna send you the slides the PowerPoint that I went over today. I'll ship that over to you right away, Marvin.
Okay.
And he's also gonna send you information about the other classes that MCE Women's Business Center is offering. And, you know, we have a few minutes left. Why don't you again go over some of that information, okay? Marvin.
Yeah, some of the classes coming up. Let's see. We've got a class on business plan and cash flows that Donna will be doing. Donna and Nick will be doing on July 19th. We have a financing with the Small Business Administration on July 20th. We have another webinar, Basic Business Finances, Part 1, July 26th. And then we have, I'll just do another one here, Let's Talk Funding with Maryland Capital Enterprises on August 16th.
And I'm gonna be following up with Lisa and Lisa Twilley, who's on vacation now, but she's usually the one that coordinates our schedule for
Yes.
classes. And I'll be coordinating with her for I don't know about August. Oh, I take a little vacation myself in August. But if not August, then I'll be back in September, October, November. They love me here and I love them. So about once a month, I'll be teaching something. I have like 8 more classes, so I got plenty of content that I can teach. And we'll get something else on the calendar. So for all of our wonderful attendees today, you know, keep an eye on the MCE Women's Business Center calendar, like Marvin's going to follow up with you on the website, and, you know, keep an eye out and come back and visit me again when I teach. If not in August, then I'll definitely be back in September. Okay.
I'll share the link to sign up for, you know, anything. We do a newsletter once a month, and then I do reminders for any of the classes that are coming up. So I'll put a link in the chat or send it to everybody how to sign up for that, so they'll get those reminders. And we have a 3-part QuickBooks seminar coming up in September. So which I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in, because you usually have to pay for anything that has to do with learning anything about QuickBooks. And this is a 3-part series. So, I mean, somebody told me yesterday, they were shocked that it was a 3-part series and there was no fee for it. But, you know, that's one of the things with our fundraisers we do, and by people donating, you know, it helps keep all those services and things like this webinars by you and so many other people. It keeps them free to small business, or to people that are trying to start a business, or people that have a small business that, you know, if they're having trouble right now and they need to figure out how to, you know, people aren't just showing up at the door anymore, you know,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out how to rebrand themselves or get themselves out there and compete. So these things are great, and it doesn't cost them anything, but it can really be extremely valuable.
And that's another thing I would ask, is our attendees would share this information with business professionals that, you know, MCE Women's Business Center just offers such an array of services and help to our folks. And I just think we need to get the word out there and educate more people about it. I will tell you that in my years in business, people come to me all the time and say, "Oh, Anita, do you do QuickBooks?" Heck no, 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 no. I have an
Right?
accountant for that. Are you kidding? I pay her to take
Usually
care of
it's
all that.
enough. I don't want to have to talk about it otherwise.
Yeah, but I have referred many clients to, bookkeepers or accountants, and I pay to have that done for my business. And it's not inexpensive to learn how to use that stuff. It's not easy. And to
No,
have a three-part series that's complimentary, that, all you have to do is log in from wherever you are and watch. I mean, my own chamber here in Ocean Pines switched over to QuickBooks about a year ago, and I think their bookkeeper was pulling her hair out. She would have given anything to have had this class at that time. So yeah, I would ask our attendees, share with people in our community, tell them about, the link to MC Women's Business Center and all of the wonderful offerings that they're giving for classes, okay?
I
And I
think people
think
don't
the thing
realize
that
we're a
I've been trying to
nonprofit.
emphasize too is that when I post the classes, is that they're open to everyone. They're hosted by the Women's Business Center and MCE, and they're open to everybody. Just because it comes up on the Women's Business
Yes.
Center doesn't mean it's just for women. So I make sure I emphasize that to people. It doesn't matter who you are. Sign up.
Thank you, Lisa. That's important. That's an
That
important
is important, so important. And you know what? Lisa Twilley's on vacation, but she reached out on Facebook to me the other day. And one of the things her and I were talking about is that I'm going to start posting more like, everyone's welcome. Anyone can attend,
Yeah.
women, men, students, we welcome you all, because I haven't, I've just been saying like, join us, here's a great class, but it's something that we need to educate people because, I guess the guys see Women's Business Center and they shut down,
Yeah.
So I definitely, it's something that Lisa Twilley and I had talked about, that I'm going to change my wording up a little bit when I'm promoting the next class. So.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
a good point.
well, it's about 5 of one of our attendees has a 1 o'clock meeting. I'm glad that you all found value today. Please feel free to, watch the website and come back again. If there's anything else I can do for you, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes, okay? But
I'll stay on too in case anybody has any questions about our loan process or anything like that.
because Donna and I can talk all day,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Donna? Yeah.
Yes.
My husband's like, if you could just teach from 9 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, you would, wouldn't you? Yeah, pretty much. If I could make money that way, but I actually have to work for my clients to do this stuff to actually make money,
Right.
So, B&I used to be a lot bigger on the Eastern Shore before COVID, and my executive director sold the franchise. So that's a small portion of my income now. It's all mostly virtual assistants by Anita. And, I love to teach, but classes are not as well embraced as they used to be. Like I used to be able to teach 1, 2, 3 times a month at some real estate office, but they don't want me to come now because, I might be diseased, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
And unfortunately, Zoom, like they're not really embracing that either,
Now I see
mean-
people now posting, that we're doing kind of a hybrid. They were doing, you could join virtually, but they were still, they were having in person too. Now I'm seeing solely in person. They're like not doing the, having to have somebody set it, because people don't realize that, they just think it's magic that it can go on both ways.
Yeah.
But like they have somebody that's got to set up, that's a whole different ballgame than
Oh,
what
yeah.
we're doing right here. To
Yep.
be able to provide virtually to people, they have somebody monitoring that, they're asking questions. And I see a lot of those now changing to in-person only.
Yeah.
They're because they're seeing this, people are going out there and they're going to things, and Zoom and webinars are, that's become the thing that I think they're tired.
They're sick of it, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to just go back to what we all call normal. So, I mean, it's starting to roll out for me a little bit. You know, we live in a seasonal area. So no one here is embracing, like, not right now. See you in September, Anita. We're really busy right now,
Well, right,
but like I'm
people I
starting to
know-
roll out classes at Remax and Caldwell Banker in Ocean City for the fall now in person again. And, it's phenomenal. And, like my BNI chapter, they're meeting the first week hybrid in person and then on Zoom the rest of the month. And, more and more itchiness of, can't we just go back to in person full time, and
People want to network and be around each other and talk to people face to face.
yep, they
Um,
miss that a lot, I think. And, all
Because
that
you can
we've
say
dealt
it's a great
with.
networking experience, but I mean, it's really, there's really not time on most webinars, unless it's set up for that to, and the only way to network is to chat with each other. You really can't have a conversation.
Right.
um,
And
and
an
then-
in-person class, Lisa, afterwards, I sit down on the edge of the table or the edge of
Yeah,
the
outside,
desk.
whatever.
And, maybe Hondo might stop by and talk to me for 10 minutes. And,
Yeah.
we're talking about
bring the
his
book, hold it up.
specifics. Right, exactly,
People
exactly.
walk up and go, hey, why don't you bring some by and, we'll sell them in our whatever, the little boutique place or their sports good place or whatever.
Yeah, it's like M. Sharon
People-
from Lower Shore
it's
Workforce
having
that was with us.
conversation.
Although being able to meet virtually has definitely opened up avenues for other people. Like I'm a disabled person, so it's allowed me to participate in ways that I hadn't been able to in a really long time. So
Yeah, I'm definitely not
definitely
downplaying the value because there's a huge value in Zoom. I mean, my
Oh, yeah.
my networking organization would have fallen to the wayside had it not been Zoom.
Oh,
It
right.
would have come, So
Right.
I absolutely agree. And Donna, I can relate. My son is legally blind. And if it were not for online services, the child would have no social interaction at all. I would
Right.
have never got him into
Right.
Warwick if it wasn't for the fact that he
Yeah,
can
and
take
I
online.
definitely, right, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that-
We do a lot of our stuff virtually, just so folks know too, like the lending process and everything right now is being done virtually.
Right. So, there is value in both aspects. Absolutely. So,
There are, for sure.
I think when there's a choice of like you get to go to a few things in person and then, hey, there's this webinar comes up, you're more excited about the webinar than whether you're looking at like 14 a week that are available. through places.
exactly. Yes, that's
It's really
true.
stop focusing on the ones that are happening. So you do get more people that sign up and actually do it.
Absolutely. So, Hondo, before we go, is there anything else we can answer for you or do for you? I see you're still with us.
I'm so glad you jumped on.
Yes, me too.
Oh, no, I was just listening and taking it all in. And just want to thank you for the opportunity to be on.
Well,
And,
we thank you for joining and participating. And it's a little after 1 now, so I'm just going to go ahead and go. And you guys have a great day. Marvin, I'll get you those slides and I'll reach out to Lisa. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Anita.
thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a
Thank you.
wonderful day. Bye, girl.
Thanks, Anita.
Bye, Hondo. See you soon.
Bye,
All right,
everybody.
see you. Bye-bye.